Hello guys, welcome back to SWS Boxing, and today delighted to get on the channel Dominicc Hardy. He's currently had 10 fights with 6 wins, 4 defeats, 4 wins by knockout. He is a heavyweight, and yeah, good to get you on the channel, Dominic. How are you?
I'm doing well. Can't complain. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Anytime, mate. My first question for you today is, how tell us how you sort of first got into the sport of boxing, what age you sort of started, your sort of intro, how you got into the sport.
I've always been a fan of boxing ever since I was young and watching old Mike Tyson fights, playing video games, so on and so forth. And I actually didn't start boxing until I was 18 in high school. My high school actually had a boxing team. So my senior year, I decided to go ahead and give it a shot and fell in love with it.
Oh, so you started when you were 18 in high school, and did you were you yeah, how's it sort of run? Did you have some competitions in your high school
I
team?
had we had like one kind of we call them smokers here. Usually what it is like it's not an official fight. They're like 1 minute rounds, so kind of sort of to get your feet wet for the sport. So I had one of those and lots of sparring sessions. But it definitely got me used to being in the sport and just having fun with it.
Yeah, so how many smoker fights did you have?
At that time, probably 15 or 20, give or take.
Yeah. And what was it? How many rounds was it? Three rounds, 1 minute.
Yeah, 3 rounds, 1 minute. And eventually, once you get used to, going longer round, like longer time, then you move up to like the actual amateurs where you'll do like 2 and 3 minute rounds, which are the official sanctioned fights by USA Boxing. So
Yeah.
I didn't start that until I took a couple years off after I got out of high school for college. So I didn't pick it back up until I was 23. So I was really, really older. But at that point, my amateur record, I finished with 31 amateur fights.
Yeah. That's good. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you've been on some journey so far as a pro with, your 10 fights you've had. I've got them up here.
Yep.
Your debut was in December 2021 against Thomas Manton. Talk about that fight, your debut.
Yeah, Thomas Matlin. Shout out to him, man. Great, good fighter. He's more of a UFC guy, kind of came over to boxing. When that fight got made, it was my pro debut coming from the amateurs. I was really looking forward to it. I was fighting in Minnesota, which is actually his hometown. So I was the away guy and came in to that fight. Wasn't really sure what to expect. I didn't have that much footage on the guy. So I wasn't really sure what to expect with him. Got in there. It was a good fight, but obviously I ended up losing, which it sucks to lose your pro debut. I mean, it's not the way you want to come into it, but I learned a lot from that fight. I always say you learn more from losing than you do from winning. So I was able to grow from that for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's going to be especially a tough one to take on, a pro debut. It was an away fight as well for yourself against somebody who was quite, would you say, is going into the fight, you didn't really know too much about him?
Yeah, not at all. I mean, I saw like a few of his UFC fights, but I didn't have any boxing footage, so I wasn't aware of where his skill level was and how to really prepare for him. I just knew he was a big UFC heavyweight, so he had like kind of the size advantage, but that was about it.
Yeah, and you can't really read too much into that as well. UFC fights, because UFC and boxing are completely different.
Absolutely. Yeah, likes to grapple. He's got really strong legs, so he's kind of a kicker. So I'm like, I don't really know how his striking ability is. So I got in there and I've made some mistakes within the fight. We were kind of trading some shots. I didn't really fight the fight that I should have fought. I did, hurt him in the first round, was able to, kind of capitalize on it. But in the second round, I kind of got caught with a great shot. and we just kind of got into an exchange, and he just came away with the victory. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah. But and then June 22, you had two fights back to back sort of thing in June. You
Yeah.
fought your second fight was against a debutant, Chanel Martin. Talk about your second fight.
Yeah, I took a couple of months off after that pro debut loss to really just evaluate um, my skills, my training, everything, because I wanted to make sure that this didn't turn into a habit. You never want to, every loss matters. My trainer always likes to say, and it takes like 5 fights to recover from a loss. And so I spent months really training. This is another guy, Shane Martin. I didn't know anything about him. It was just an opportunity that came up to fight down in Kentucky. I went into that fight knowing like, hey, I have to win this fight. This is a win or go home fight because I can't take two in a row. I went into that fight. I was confident. I had a great training camp, and I was able to pull off the win. And it was great to kind of get my confidence back, so to speak.
Yeah, 100%. And then you fought Marlon Hayward in Green Bay.
Yeah, so that was a week later. I actually know Marlon, cool guy. We've actually sparred together quite a few times. He's from the Illinois area, like myself. So I didn't want to really fight a guy that I know. I usually try to shy away from that, but the opportunity came up. I wasn't able to find a good opponent for that card, and he was able to take it. And we got in, had a great fight, and I was able to go ahead and pull off back-to-back wins in a seven in one week. So,
Yeah, I mean,
it was a
how
great
tough
time.
was that? How tough was that? I mean, from going, fighting one week to the next week, back to back sort of thing. I mean, no time to, really celebrate your first win, straight back into it the following week, focusing on the next guy.
Yeah, it's definitely I'll say it's not everybody can do it. I think for me it worked because I didn't really take any punishment in that first fight. And I was already prepared from the training camp. So going into the next one, plus I was fighting somebody I had shared the ring with before. So I already knew what he brought to the table. So it wasn't like a complete unknown or anything like that. I just went in there, did what I know how to do, and came away with the victory. And it was great to say that, I came away with back-to-back wins. I mean, if you look at heavyweights of the 80s, like Mike Tyson fought like 9 times in one year. And that's how it used to be. So to be able to do that, I think it was pretty fun.
Yeah. And then you fought Rod Stone.
Yeah, Spur Roundstone, great guy out of Montana, I believe. We fought in Wisconsin. Big guy. He's probably the biggest heavyweight I've fought. I think he was a little over 300 pounds, just massive guy. So I knew that, okay, I could probably take him late into the rounds and wear down his stamina, get him out of there. But I ended up taking him out in the first round. I caught him with a great left hook, right hand combination, and he went down and wasn't able to beat the count. And I was happy to come away with a close one.
Were you expecting a long night?
I was expecting to at least take him into like the third round, maybe, and see, because I knew he probably had enough stamina the last 1 or 2 rounds. And then I would, put some body shots in there, wear him down and get him out of there. But, I chested his chin in the first round and he wasn't able to take it.
Yeah, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, is the saying.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was fun to get that knockout.
yeah. And then you fought Chris Hicks, who he was 1-0 at the time, so you stole his O off him.
Yeah. So Chris Hicks is a, Wisconsin native, cool guy. We actually fought for the Wisconsin State heavyweight title. For some reason they didn't put it on BoxRec, but that was a title fight. We went in there and it was my first 6 round fight. And, I was thinking like, hey, I gotta last 6 rounds. I have to prove to myself that I can handle this. And I had only seen a little bit of footage on him because, like you said, he was 1-0. But I went in there, trained hard. I actually suffered a cut over my eye in the fourth round due to a clash of heads. I had an amazing cut man who was able to kind of clean that up and keep it from getting worse and not costing me the fight. But winning there was pulled out the win. So I beat a hometown guy in his hometown and won the Wisconsin State heavyweight title. So that was fun.
And what did it mean to you winning your first belt as a pro?
It meant like, honestly, at that time I had been trying to wonder, hey, do I belong here? Am I good enough to be a pro? Because I feel like anybody who gets into the pros, like you're still trying to find that confidence because the amateurs and the pros are totally different. So for me, that was like validation, like, hey, I do belong here. I'm a solid professional and I'm making a name for myself.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that was a big win for you. Would you say that's probably been the biggest win of your career so far? I
Yeah,
mean, Thomas
probably. I,
Jones'
I would
win
say
was
so
quite
because of the.
good.
Oh yeah, that was in front of the hometown. First and only time I fought here at home. In front of the hometown crowd. That was a big win also. And plus the most experienced guy that I've had on my resume. I wanted to fight somebody at a higher caliber. As you can see throughout my boxing career, I've only tried to fight guys who are more experienced, better, and just continue to trend upwards. So yeah, I would say that was probably the best win that I've had, but I'm always searching for bigger and better fights.
Yeah, the Thomas Jones and Chris Hings wins are good wins on your
Oh
record.
yeah, absolutely. I just try to keep building off of them.
And yeah, then you had a rematch with Thomas Manton, who you had on your debut. Explain why you rematched him.
Yeah, so at that time I was 5-1. I had five straight wins, so I was feeling really confident. And as a boxer, when you lose one, you always want to get that one back. And when I was talking to the promoter, trying to get everything set up, I said, "Hey, let's reach out to Tommy and see if we can get him for this rematch to see if I can get that win." And I was defending my state title for that fight, and obviously it didn't go my way. You know, maybe the style matchup was just bad for me, but I can say at least I tried to give it a shot,
Yeah,
and I
100%.
had fun anyway. Yeah. So
That's
I
always
tried to
good.
get my respect back and get the win. Didn't work out for me, but at least I tried.
Yeah, 100%. Then you got back to winning ways against Darius Wolfie, who was two wins, two defeats, one draw at the time.
Yeah, he was a tough guy, Native American guy out of Wisconsin. I had seen him fight on two past shows. We had shared a card in Wisconsin, and I was kind of offered that fight, and I said, "Hey, I'll take it. Go up there and get the big guy out of there." I'd seen him; he had won the Wisconsin Golden Gloves as an amateur and won a couple of pro fights that I'd seen. So I figured it would be a great matchup for me and a way for me to get back into winning ways. And he was a tall guy, kind of like Spur Roundstone, over 6 feet, really sizable. So I knew I had to wear him down and get him to get tired and get him out of there. And once I was throwing some shots at him, I saw how he reacted. Went to throw a couple body shots, got him tired, and was able to drop him. I dropped him in the second round, and then third round finished him off.
Yeah. And then you fought David Garcia, well, in July last year.
Yeah, most valuable promotions reached out to me, Jake Paul's promotion, and asked me if I wanted to go ahead and take a fight down in Florida with them. And I said, okay. Usually I would be the one selecting opponents and going that route, but this was the first time something was being offered to me. And it was a chance to fight in Florida, somewhere, a new state. So I said, let's go ahead and do it. And plus, I had enough time to actually prepare for it. Because usually when you get offers like that, they're like 2 or 3 weeks out or a couple days. So it's like you don't really get the time. I had a baby camp to prepare for this when I went in there. David Garcia, shout out to him. He's a great up and coming prospect, tough fighter. I went in there. He's a little shorter than me. I usually like to fight guys that are my height or taller because fight punching down is a little bit awkward, so to speak. Um, we had some good exchanges in there. I think I was able to touch him with the jab and a little bit with the right hand, but he just kind of wore me down with a little bit of the pressure. And I thought it was a little bit of an early stoppage, but it is what it is. I had fun with the event and we're totally fighting for it again.
Yeah, 100%. And of course, your last outing against Joshua Edwards, you were back on the most valuable promotion cards. It was Jake Paul, Julio Cesar Chavez fight, undercard. Another big platform, for you live on the zone again. I think it's now two
Oh
times
yeah.
you've been on the zone, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah, second time. Yeah, not exactly the way I would have liked to have ended it, obviously, but this was another kind of late notice thing. I got the call on May 31st. The fight was June 28th, so less than a month to really prepare. And at the time, like I had honestly been in a state of semi-retirement because of spending time with my family. I have two kids, and I wanted to spend more time with them. So I hadn't fought in 11 months, and I wasn't really like training boxing like that. I was just lifting weights, working out, and stuff. And the call came in. It was a good opportunity, and I said, I'll roll the dice and hang around with it. I didn't have the best training camp. I ended up catching a really bad cold. So I was out for a week and then I couldn't really get sparring set up like I wanted. So the cards are just stacked against me into that. I went in there and did the best that I could. Nobody can say that, hey, I wouldn't take an opportunity, but shout out to Joshua Edwards, another tough fighter. He's got some decent power.
He
But I
was an
think
Olympian as well, wasn't he?
yeah, he was an Olympian, decent power, but really great hand speed. I will say that. Like he's really good hand speed. We were kind of throwing a jab, trying to feel him out, see what he was going with, and he was analyzing me at the same time. And I didn't even see the shot coming. He caught me, and they always say, in boxing, it's the shots that you don't see that really hurt the most. And he caught me, and I went down kind of awkwardly with the way
Mm.
my leg twisted. I twisted my ankle on the way down, and even though I beat the count, the ref said, "Hey, that's enough." So
Did you think that's
another
a
one
fair
where
call from the ref?
it's for me, it's kind of 50-50. Like I went back and rewatched it. As I stood up, I kind of hobbled a little bit because my ankle was, sprained at that point. So I wouldn't have been able, even if he had let me continue, I wouldn't have been able to move. Like I would have just been standing there waiting for him to come to me. So in that respect, could I have gone on? Absolutely. But he was looking at it from an aspect of, hey, I'm trying to protect the fighter. So,
Mm.
it's 50-50. I could have gone on for sure, but I'm not mad at it. Like it is what it is. As a fighter, I think you always want to continue, but
Yeah.
we want to be safe and get home in one piece. So I was able to do that. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that's the main thing at the end of the day. And yeah, how do of course you've been on most valuable promotions twice now. How do they, how was the experience boxing on most valuable promotions?
Well, so this time I was actually on Golden Boy. Golden Boy was actually the one that reached out to me. So I've been on Most Valuable and on the Golden Boy. I think both of them treated me very well. I mean, the process was, from getting licensing, the physicals, all the background stuff that people don't see, it was handled very well. And when I was flown out and taken care of. They really do take care of fighters, and I would absolutely fight under either promotion again if the right opportunity came up. So it was great to be on a big card back to back, and to say that I was, part of those events. And obviously, who doesn't want to fight on TV?
Mm.
I mean that's a cool part of what we do. So I loved it every second of it.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, well, what's next for you? I know you fought a couple months ago now against Joshua Edwards. Yeah, what's next for you? What's your next plan?
Right now, still kind of rehabbing my ankle a little bit. It's taking a little bit longer. I'm probably about 95% healed right now, but just getting back into a normal groove of training, sparring, um, weightlifting, trying to drop some weight. I think I came in at 251 for this last fight. I want to get right back down to where I think my prime fighting weight is, like 225. Weight must be faster, sharper, able to do what I know I'm able to do. And if the right opportunity comes up, you'll see me in the ring again soon.
Yeah, 100%. Would you try and get your title back?
But in Wisconsin State, I mean, maybe I don't really know. I want to go after bigger and better titles, and just like I've had that one, but I want to go after like maybe a regional title or like a NABA or
Mm.
WBC continental title, something like that. I'm always looking for bigger and better opportunities. So I've had a local title, it was really fun. Maybe I'll fight for Illinois state title or something, but I'm
You're
always looking
looking
for
for
bigger and better
bigger and better.
opportunities. So we'll see. Yeah, absolutely. I think I want to move up to 8 rounds. Uh I just had an offer to fight a 10-round fight the other day. And so I'm just kind of weighing my options and seeing what makes sense for me in my career. Obviously, I want to get back in the winning column.
Hmm.
I don't think I've taken a serious amount of punishment in my career or anything. So I'm definitely still fit and able to do it. And I'm still having fun with boxing. So, and that's the biggest thing to me. And most people just get into boxing for a variety of reasons. For me, it's always been fun. So that's why I do it.
Yeah, and who are those champions at the minute that you're looking at and targeting?
Oh man, I would love to get in with I'd love to fight Usyk, Anthony Joshua, any of those guys, Dillian White.
Who do you
Um,
reckon wins White or Talma?
Man, that's a tough one. I think Moses Atama is he's really on the rise quickly, but I think that this is Dillian White is going to be the biggest face that he's been up against, and so we don't really know how he does on the world level yet. This will be a test. So if he's able to make it past this, then we can say maybe he stacks up with the top 15. But we don't really know that. He's been going through a lot of guys that are kind of like local or regional level, but we got to see him against top competition. And Dillian White, that's a tough test. I mean, he's older now, maybe a little slower and probably not as much gas left in the tank, but that's still a dangerous fight for him. So I have it as 50-50 right now. I don't know who comes out on top.
Yeah, I mean that's this weekend. That will you be watching that one?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I love watching good heavyweight brawls. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing that one. Hopefully Anthony Joshua gets back in there before the year is out because he's got a rebound from that loss. And Um, any of the other big heavyweight fights, definitely always looking to see who's in the top 15 and who's on the rise. Because I would love to be in that conversation.
Yeah, one step at a time. Yeah, ideally is so you say when do you feel like you'll be getting back out?
I don't, I don't know. I mean, maybe by the end of the year, I would say, or early next year, we'll see how it happens. It just, with the timing, if the right offer comes in and it makes sense for me, then sooner rather than later, we'll see.
Yeah,
I just kind of play it by ear.
yeah. And yeah, before I let you go, Dominic, I'll let you thank anyone who's given you your opportunities in your career at the moment. Anyone you want to thank, trainers, anybody?
Yeah, I always want to thank my longtime trainer, Martin Soto, Marty, as we call him. The Chicago Park District, who I've trained under, has a great, amazing boxing program that I started in and have continued to prosper in. all of the coaches and fighters within the Chicagoland boxing area because there's a lot of talent here that never gets really mentioned, and want to give a thanks to them. Golden Boy Promotions and Most Valuable Promotions for having me on their cards. I think it's been good. Hardware Bangers, which is a Chicagoland boxing promotion I've been able to fight on, and International Boxing, who's also another local card that I've had many fights with. I'd like to thank all of them for having me out, and all of the fans that have been there supporting me and continue to watch my career. And thank you for having me on this platform and also supporting me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, 100%. And
Yeah,
yeah, from me, mate, a big thank you for your time today. I do appreciate it, and I'm looking forward
absolutely.
to your next fight. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. See
Thank
you
you,
around
mate.
soon.
Bye, mate.
All right.